One of the most talked about comedies of the last year or so has been FX's English Teacher. Well, it has been renewed for season 2, so we can look forward to more craziness with these characters. But we have these 8 episodes in season 1 as of now, so let's talk about it. Hey guys, Dan here. This is Dan Reviews It. Welcome to my TV review for English Teacher. You can check this out on Hulu as part of their FX banner. And I think these episodes aired linearly actually on FX when this was released late last year. But in any event, Hulu is sort of the home for all things FX in terms of streaming, so you can check out season 1 there. And there is a season 2 coming, but no word on when. So I think they're not going to be taking the Bear method of it. You know, the Bear religiously puts out those seasons from FX at the beginning of every summer. I don't know if we're going to get this one, quite in such short order. But in any event, we've got these 8 episodes, so we'll talk about that in just a second. First, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are a subscriber already for Dan Reviews It, thank you so much for that. I love it when you guys return to check out my content. But if you're not, please consider subscribing. Click the notification bell, click that like button, and comment below. Of course, all of that stuff helps out the channel tremendously, and I certainly do appreciate it. All right, so look, this show is easily comparable to Abbott Elementary. They are both school, workplace sitcoms focusing mainly on the teachers. Yes, there's, kids in every episode, and they're sort of more in the backdrop, and maybe, some of the plots will revolve around the teachers' relationships with them or what have you. But this show, like Abbott, is more focused on the staff, the teachers, the principal. So another comparison is that this show was created by the star. Quinta Brunson, of course, for Abbott. But here it is Brian Jordan Alvarez. He plays high school teacher Evan Marquez. And the school here is the fictional Morrison Hensley High School. You have Stephanie Koenig as Gwen, who is Evan's best friend and a fellow teacher. You've got the great Enrico Colantoni, who was on Just Shoot Me, and Veronica Mars. He's done a lot of things over the years. He plays the principal of the high school. And you also have newcomer Sean Patton as the gym teacher and athletic director at the high school. They're sort of the main four, and then we have some recurring characters from other teachers, and of course, like I said, the kids are always kind of part of the storylines. So the other thing I think that's easy to compare. Now, look, the settings are a bit different because you have elementary school for Abbott and high school for this show, and also this not being on a traditional television network like Abbott on ABC. They are allowed to, let some more things fly. The expletives, the content, the adult content, I guess we could say. But they are fairly similarly structured shows. And I think the thing that sets Abbott apart from a lot of other sitcoms on network television is, like The Office before it, you have this sort of very kind of politically incorrect nature about some of these characters, certainly, the principal character in Abbott. But the show is written by PC people and, woke people, if you want to use that annoying term. And this is very much similar. Evan as a character is a gay man, as a teacher that, affects his workspace. In fact, in the first episode, there's, a thread about, in fact, the main plot, I guess, is about that. And then in episode 2, you have the football team coming to him because they're going to do this powder puff game, and so the boys have to put on the cheerleading outfit to do the cheering while the girls play the football. And they come to Evan because he's gay, so he must know about fashion and all of that. So there's threads of that kind of stuff throughout, politically incorrect topics and politically incorrect thoughts spewing out of these people, but it is a tongue-in-cheek way to do it, like the movie Tropic Thunder, for example. And Abbott sort of made kind of an art form of that, like The Office before it. Michael Scott obviously was a very, very un-PC character, and the show kind of revolved around, the sane characters surrounding, Michael, and then Dwight was a nut too, whatever. And Abbott, same thing. And here we get the same thing. But here is something that I think this show does even better than Abbott. And I love Abbott, I do. But I think this show right away, like it within the first, not even the whole first episode, but within the first few minutes of the first episode, or maybe 5 or 10 minutes, we get a clear and concise character for all four of these main people. In this case, it's the gym teacher, Marky, that is the politically incorrect one or whatever. He calls Evan Fruit Loop, for example, and Evan's like, hey, oh, it's just a cereal, no big deal. Why don't you call me Cheerios then? Well, there's nothing gay about Cheerios. That's one of the exchanges. And it's like, so you have him sort of being the un-PC guy, and everybody kind of around him trying to not only corral him, but understanding, okay, maybe he's from a little bit of a different time. Let's try and teach him, whatever. In the second episode, he learns that women and girls feel unsafe. He listens to these like murder podcasts that were recommended to him, and so he's like, oh my god, forget this powder puff game. We got to teach self-defense instead. So it's that kind of thing. He's learning and adapting while being politically incorrect. And it goes back to that old classic phrase, oh, you can't do that anymore, or oh, you can't make that show anymore, oh, this could never be made today. Yes, everything can be made in any time. You just have to do it with some finesse and some intelligence. And that's what this show does. Abbott does it too. But I think the characters are much more well-defined here immediately. Like by the end of the first episode, certainly. But I think even in the middle, pretty much all of these characters and their traits. And certainly they're a little one note because we've just met them. But they are incredibly fleshed out for a pilot episode of a comedy. I mean, it's tough because you got to the setting here is easy because everyone's been to school, so you immediately know the setting and what to expect there. So that box is checked. But to have us understand who the characters are right away and wring a bunch of humor out of it, that is rare in sitcoms. There have been certainly a few that come to mind. 30 Rock, I think, did a great job with it. I think Modern Family did a great job with it as well. But that pilot episode for a sitcom is so hard, and especially when you only get 8 episodes, like you do now with streamers and such, it can be tough. Some of these shows I reviewed, you're halfway through the season before we really, really know the characters or what direction the show is. This show knows what it is immediately. And yes, I do believe that Brian Jordan Alvarez probably took Abbott as a template. I don't doubt that because there are a lot of similarities. And I don't know if this is a better show than Abbott from season 1, but I will say the characters are immediately defined here, which is very, very rare. Look, I'll wrap it there, but we will look forward certainly to season 2 upcoming. But for now, we can enjoy these 8 episodes. I leave English Teacher season 1 with an A. It is a strong, strong opening season for a sitcom that hopefully can maintain that in future seasons. All right, thank you for watching Dan Reviews It. I will see you next time.